This is Nick.
This is Jack.
And today's Innovation Pod is the best one yet.
Our top 3 growth hack stories of the last year.
Yetis, Nick and Jack here. And if you're hearing this episode, then Jack's baby just arrived and he's actually on paternity leave.
Chances are I'm waiting for the perfect light to take the perfect picture to reveal this baby on Instagram.
So all week long, we're dropping our best ones yet of the best one yet bonus pods.
Today's show is on innovation hacks. We've got too many to fit in one episode, but these are 3 fantastic ones.
So send this episode to your buddy who's building something huge. Jack, 3 stories. What do we got for today?
For our first story, we're going back to August 30th, 2024, when shares of SharkNinja, the appliance company, had surged 140%.
We'll tell you how SharkNinja took over your home from air fryers to hair dryers.
For our second story, we're going back to October 23rd. Sunscreen sold in a whipped cream can.
Interesting.
Tampons sold in an ice cream pint.
What?
The new packaging trend is chaos.
Chaos packaging is trending because consumers decide in 3 seconds.
And our third and final story is from October 31st. There is one candy you saw on Halloween.
Totally.
Nerd clusters. It's the fastest growing candy in America.
Nerd clusters are a case study in going with your gut.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories.
Fantastic mix of stories, Jack.
Hockey stick growth.
Going Gretzky, baby.
How can you surge your company's sales from 0 to 60 faster than a Ferrari?
When your business feels more like a Subaru?
Okay, first of all, this sounds like an infomercial or like some kind of motivational speech.
But I like the momentum, Jack.
Because to do those things, you need a hack.
A hack, a tip, a trick, or a sneaky idea to go further cheaper.
Hacks. Rapid growth for minimal cost.
Hacks, huge engagement for tiny involvement.
Hacks. Big returns for small investment.
Besties, if you drop the term growth hack in your next pitch deck, then Mark Andreessen will take your meeting and kiss your left cheek.
Because from startups to stocks, there's nothing hotter than a hack.
No, there isn't. In fact, one reason Jack and I ask you to send us the best fact yet on our daily show. Why is it, Jack?
It's a growth hack.
It is.
Because when you hear your voice on the show, you share the episode on Instagram, which of course we love.
We love it. It's a growth hack. So besties, we've actually covered hundreds of these innovation and growth hacks on our show. We love covering them.
We whipped up 3 of our favorite ones to inspire your next hacky move.
3 creative business ideas for innovation hacks.
Let's hit them.
Let's hack them.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, we're going back to August 30th, 2024.
SharkNinja. Their stock is up another 26% since we covered this story.
They opened a new innovation hub in New York City. They entered skincare with an anti-aging LED mask.
They've got an insane growth hack. Jack, let's hit it. SharkNinja is taking over kitchens, carpets, and all of your cabinet space.
How does SharkNinja decide what home appliance to create next?
How do they do it, Jack?
They read online reviews.
They read the reviews. And now, Yetis, funny little story that Jack and I tell each other and made up is that somebody at Shark goes to their CFO and says, you know what? We should acquire Ninja.
Why would we do that?
Because then we can call ourselves Shark Ninja.
That's the origin story of SharkNinja that Nick and I like to tell.
Yeti SharkNinja. They are based in lovely Needham, Massachusetts.
Just outside Boston.
And SharkNinja happens to be the fastest growing brand in all of home appliances.
This $12 billion publicly traded company will blend, vacuum, toast, fry, and roast everything in your apartment.
If there is a verb, they will verb that verb. Now, besties, you may know Shark vacuums or you may know Ninja blenders. Those are 2 of their top products.
But this company actually makes 34 different types of home appliances.
And from air fryers to hair dryers, grills to ice cream makers.
They just launched a slushy machine and got 100,000 person wait list.
Like we said, besties, if it spins, if it blows, if it heats, if it freezes, if it sucks, SharkNinja will sell it to you for 6 easy payments of $29.99.
No POD, which is like payment on delivery. What is that, by the way?
Still don't understand cash on demand. I feel like that's a different era. But Yetis, here's what Jack and I found fascinating about this story. Isn't SharkNinja's strength actually a major risk?
34 product lines?
Yeah, it's a lot.
They might be spreading themselves out too thin.
Like the great Ron Swanson once said to us, Jack.
Don't half-ass two things.
Yeah.
Full-ass one thing.
Don't half-ass two things, full-ass one thing.
So our assumption, if you're making 34 items and you're not that big a company like SharkNinja is, too much quantity might hurt the quality.
Well, it turns out we'd be wrong.
Because this company IPO'd 1 year ago. Their stock has tripled since that IPO.
Huge.
So Nick and I dove into the financials.
We discovered that SharkNinja has actually gained market share in nearly every category that they operate, from toasters to blenders.
They do it thanks to heavy spending on research and development.
Yeah, it turns out that SharkNinja dropped 6% of their revenue on research and development to improve their products.
That's a much bigger proportional spend than the competition.
And that constant improvement cycle, thanks to research and development, puts them ahead of Instapot, of Cuisinart, and of Maytag.
Plus, since they have so many products, Sharknado is basically immune to consumer fads.
Yeah, this is a funny thing, Jack, and I noticed that, after everyone bought an Instapot sales just dried up. Remember that, Jack?
There was no one else to sell to, so Instapot eventually went bankrupt.
Yeah, we covered it on the pod. The bankruptcy of Instapot, a one-product company.
But for SharkNinja, after everyone buys a Shark toaster, then the company can sell them a Ninja blender.
Or the 32 other SharkNinja products that they happen to make from your kitchen to your bathroom.
And then once you've bought all 34 products,
yeah,
it's probably been like 10 years, you need to replace all those products.
If you've got a verb, they're going to sell you that verb.
No, they're going to sell you the noun.
They're basically selling you the noun for the verb. Good point. Grammar fact check. So, Jack, what's the takeaway?
Vacuum, it's both the noun and a verb. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at SharkNinja?
Consumer pain is SharkNinja's gain.
So, Yetis, how does SharkNinja really decide what to create next? Well, they don't find what you love. They find what you hate.
According to the Wall Street Journal, SharkNinja's product development team scours online reviews and social media posts to find consumer pain points and then develops a solution for them.
Okay, so Jack, what was that solution? For example, remember what SharkNinja did with Dyson vacuum cleaners?
I own a Dyson cordless vacuum. It's a great product, but after a while, the little coil in the middle gets wrapped up with hair, and I have to take scissors to cut all that hair off.
Well, SharkNinja noticed that those were the reviews being left about that vacuum, so they ordered their engineers to create a competitor without the hair clog issue.
And the result? Sharknado now controls 45% of the U.S. stand-up vacuum market.
Half of the U.S. vacuum market is this one company, SharkNinja.
SharkNinja doesn't look at what you love. They look at what you hate.
And that's the key. Your consumer pain is their gain.
For our second story, we're going back to October 23rd, 2024.
Chaos packaging. This one is freaky. Can you sell sunscreen in a whipped cream can?
The answer is yes.
Besties, the new trend in startups is chaos packaging.
And it reveals the secret to selling anything.
Now, Yetis, we were hanging out with you 6 months ago, and we did a fascinating story on a company called Graza.
At the time, it was the best one yet.
It was the best one yet.
Because Graza was the fastest selling olive oil in history. It's selling $50 million of product this year.
It was selling so much olive oil, Caesar was jealous. So Jack and I got curious, what was Graza's secret?
It wasn't the olive oil, it was the packaging.
Yeah, Graza's olive oil was inspired by a shampoo bottle. It came in a squeezable plastic bottle, not like glass like every other olive oil.
And refills, they come in a beer can. You can pop open olive oil like a Modelo.
What Jack and I are saying is this ain't your average extra virgin olive oil.
This ain't your average EVOO.
But here's the news, Yetis. Graza is not the only brand launching in crazy containers these days.
Exhibit A, Happy Coffee, sells instant coffee in a pharmacy pill pack.
Exhibit B, Engine Gin, sells gin alcohol in a motor oil tin can.
Exhibit 4, Vacation Skincare. They sell sunscreen in a whipped cream spray canister.
And they're getting 5 million views a week.
On what, their TikTok?
On everything, Jack. Yetis, add it all up, and this is all a new trend the Wall Street Journal calls chaos packaging.
Chaos packaging. Nick and I were fascinated because this is actually a powerful financial trick shot.
Yeah, chaos packaging is a financial trick shot because it's an alternative to ads.
The best example we found is a company called Flow Tampons.
Flow Tampons. Flow Tampons happens to sell tampons, but in an ice cream pint.
Their product looks like a 16-ounce Ben & Jerry's pint, but inside is actually 16 tampons.
We jumped in T-Boy style. The co-founder of Flow Tampons had the best, quote, the best insight we've heard about this whole concept.
She said, look, we're a startup. We can't afford a billboard. So this pint of tampons, that is our billboard.
Exactly. Packages of Tampax, Playtex, Always, they all look the same on the shelf.
An ice cream carton container within the tampon section, it sticks out on the shelf just like a billboard.
We've said the war's in the stores, and that is how you win the wars in the stores, with a pint of ice cream of tampons.
For a fraction of the price, Flow basically got the same impact as a billboard would have given them.
They stood out from the legacy competition just like a billboard would do.
And crazy packaging, it's the perfect opportunity for a startup.
Because established brands, they're not gonna mix things up with some crazy chaos packaging, are they, Jack?
It wouldn't make sense for Procter & Gamble to do something like this. They don't want to confuse their long-term customers who have been buying for decades.
P&G's lawyers aren't signing off on an ice cream tub of Tampax anytime soon.
But a scrappy startup? They'll put a tampon in a pint.
Even if you accidentally means you stick it in the freezer when you get home.
Yeah, it is called chaos packaging. We hope nobody accidentally chugs their sunblock whipped cream style thinking it's dairy.
Honey, I don't think this is cookie dough. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies doing chaos packaging?
You have 3 seconds. 3 seconds to convince a consumer to buy.
Best emphasis yet, Jack. Yetis in consumer goods, from toothpaste to Tylenol, we generally take 3 seconds on average to decide if we buy.
It's called dwell time.
Dwell time.
We take 3 seconds in the aisle to stop, judge the products, and make a decision.
And Jack, why do we take such short time, just 3 seconds in the aisle?
We're busy. There's too many options. We can't dissect 18 different labels, so we probably just bought the thing we bought last time.
Jack and I call this 3-second phenomenon premature evaluation.
So to jar consumers out of their routine, chaos packaging can be perfect. It can get them to linger for 2 more seconds in the aisle.
2 more seconds is all you need. That's double the time.
And that's why a startup is putting tampons in ice cream pints and putting them up on the shelf.
Because when it comes to convincing a consumer to buy, you only have 3 seconds. Hey Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it. For our third and final story, we're going back to October 31st, 2024, Halloween.
In the meantime, Nerds actually did a Super Bowl commercial this year with Shabuzi, but we want to talk about their Halloween growth hack. The number one candy you're going to see this Halloween, it's Nerds Clusters.
Nerds Clusters are the fastest growing candy in America thanks to one gutsy decision.
Yetis, get this. Something Jack and I have never seen before. But the Nerds candy just got front page pieces in both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal.
I bet you both reporters were really angry when they learned that their coverage was going to be split between the two.
I mean, forget election coverage. It's all about candy coverage these days.
The reason both of the papers of record are covering Nerds is because Nerd sales have been growing like software recently.
In 6 years, Nerds revenues have gone from $40 million a year to $700 million a year. Jack, could you sprinkle on some financial context?
That's almost 20x growth in just 6 years.
Nerds is the new Nvidia.
Nerds had a Super Bowl ad last year. They're getting another one this year. And they're Kylie Jenner's favorite candy.
And they're not even paying her to say that. They just happen to be her favorite candy.
But we should clarify. This is not the box of Nerds you remember from growing up, where the box is divided in 2 flavors, remember?
No. What we are talking about is the new version of Nerds known as the Nerds Clusters.
A Nerds Cluster is a dime-sized gummy covered in the tiny, tangy Nerds that you know.
It basically is like eating a cavity. That's what it's like.
Imagine like a almost melted Swedish fish that gets tossed into a bowl of Nerds and you spin it around a little bit and then you pull it out.
And then get spray painted in 42 different colors. Yetis, get this. That spin-off version of Nerds was introduced just 6 years ago, but it's now 90% of Nerd sales.
Nerds is basically gone. Nerds Clusters are all you see now.
The student has become the teacher.
So Yetis, we gotta ask, how have Nerds clusters become the fastest growing candy in America?
Well, we read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal articles, which were, by the way, the longest articles we have ever seen either of those papers produce. And according to that reporting, Nerds ignored the data.
Back in 2018, Nerds was uncool. They had fallen behind Starburst, Skittles, Sour Patch Kids, so the company was bought by Ferrara, the Italian candy company, for just a tiny bit of money.
And then Ferrara scientists pulled off an engineering feat. They managed to stick hard candies on a gummy and maintain the integrity of the shape.
It was a candy innovation, and ultimately they found the ideal ratio of crunchy to smushy that's just really satisfying.
So then they said, okay, we have got something here. Let's think about what consumers want. And Jack, what was the reaction in the test markets?
Bad. Consumers didn't like it.
It was bad. According to the Wall Street Journal, every bit of data about these new Nerds clusters said it was going to be a dud.
Online surveys of the concept also came back negative.
In focus groups, people said the Nerds cluster was like kibble for people. It was dehumanizing.
They said it looked like fish tank gravel.
You can't serve that at a big affair, Jack.
But the people in charge of Nerds ignored the tests and followed their tastes instead. So they went to market with the Nerds clusters.
Even though every data point said that this was going to be a failure of the product, they launched it, which is the kind of thing that, honestly, it's going to get your whole team fired if it fails, Jack.
But it didn't fail. The Nerds cluster started going viral. And now, it's the fastest growing candy in America.
With $700 million in sales, 6 times more than the original Nerds candy.
For comparison, that's about a fourth as much sales as number 1, which is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
And they're probably almost as big as a lift. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at the Nerds clusters?
There is a case for going with your gut.
Yetis, we've all been in that meeting. The meeting where you want to do something and you're excited, but then someone says, hey, but what does the data say?
You have a fantastic idea, but some buzzkill in the corner of the conference room asks if I have data to back it up.
Data, it drives decisions across the meeting rooms of corporate America for everything.
Deservedly so. But there's another way you can make a decision. It's called going with your gut. Or how about we call it intuitive insight instead?
I like that rephrasing, Jack, because Yeti's guts are actually a combination of expertise, of awareness, and of your risk tolerance.
According to Psychological Science magazine, it's deep experience that informs gut instincts. But those deep experiences are overlooked.
And there's a great example with the National Institute of Health. Medical trainees using intuition had equal or greater accuracy than simple quantitative analysis. There's a great study from the National Institute of Health where medical trainees used their intuition instead of following quantitative analysis, and they got equal or better results in the medical field.
And Harvard Business Review has a list of successful products where data said, no, you shouldn't launch this, but the leader's guts said yes.
For example, all the data said that sports cards would never sell, but sports cars are now a huge industry.
And the data famously told Steve Jobs that he shouldn't launch the iPod or the iPhone, and he launched both anyway.
So Yetis, your gut, it's actually a powerful input you gotta listen to.
Because your gut is built on experience.
I think what we're saying, Jack, is that there's a brain in your gut. Now time for the best fact. Yeah, this one whipped up by Jack and me.
One of the great examples of a hack is the Duolingo streak.
The Duolingo streak. Jack, tell us more.
Duolingo is a language app, the largest education app on earth, actually.
Muy importante.
And they introduced the concept of a streak.
A streak.
Most apps don't want you to know how long you've been using them because you'll be like, oh my Lord, I have a problem.
But Duolingo, they did the opposite. They created streak badges so you can boast about how much time you've been in the app.
And guess what? 70% of users of the Duolingo app have streaks right now over a week long.
Jack, get this. One dude even has played 4,100 days in a row on Duolingo for a single streak.
What's that, 13 years?
It's older than like some languages, I think.
Duolingo tapped into your internal motivation and your desire to boast as a growth hack.
Yetis, you look fantastic for our latest bonus pod, but we have got 3 more coming your way, don't we, Jack?
But make sure to send this episode to your buddy who's launching a company, launching a product, trying to innovate, or in need of a growth hack.
Or just want something to brag about at business school.
Nick and I will see you tomorrow.
Can't wait.